Oh, morning, y'all. Another day, another grind. So, yeah, trying to get back into it. Singing this morning. It's real easy to think, man, I want to go do this grand thing. I want to go run a marathon. I want to earn $1 million. I want to, in this economy, I want to go buy a house for the first time. Whatever this grand thing is that you want to do, that we want to do. I know you've heard the saying before about how does one go about eating an elephant? One bite at a time. I don't know if you like me, man, you've probably heard that saying more times than you can really care to count. But that don't mean that it's not true. Because it's really easy for us to make these big grand plans of things that we want to do and get all hyped up and motivated and set out that day to be like, that's what I'm going to do. Just like I told y'all when I posted, was it last week or the week before? I think it was probably 2 weeks ago. I'd have to go back and look, but I ain't paying that close attention right now. Just trying to build up the habit. But I told y'all that I want to run a marathon before I turn 23. So that gives me roughly a year and a half. But I can't just decide to go out and boom, go run a marathon, because that's what I want to do. Something that I have to set some goals for. That probably means I need to go run a few 5Ks and handful of 10Ks and probably a half marathon or two would be a good idea to run before going out and embarking on a full-on marathon. But my point is that there's a process. There's a lot of mini goals, landmarks along the way. And those are the little bites of the elephant. We ain't gonna have much luck accomplishing some big grand plan if we don't have small achievable goals that we want to set out and shoot to achieve. We just did our end of year planning for my job, and in sales, you got to have some sales goals. We got to set plans about what we hope to achieve, what our plans are, week on week, for the quarter, for the period, because that makes it a little more achievable when we have a plan. And when we don't have a plan, it's real easy to get off track. I would say it's impossible not to get off track when you don't have a plan, because there's not any track. So you can't even get on track if you don't have a plan. So if you want to go somewhere, if you want to do something, you gotta make a plan. And in order to make a plan, this is going to be real simple. Well, it's going to be simple advice. But simple does not mean easy. You got to stop and sit down and think about where you want to be, what you want to do, what your goal is. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I'll tell you one thing that I want to do. I want to do this more consistently. I want to build this into a revenue generating venture. I want to build up a community. I want to build up a community, and I would ask that if you're interested in building a community, if you would help me achieve my goal because you want to achieve your goal, click the like button, subscribe, and even click the little bell button so you get notifications. That's all I'm asking, for you to click 3 simple buttons down below this video here. Do me a huge favor, and it doesn't cost you anything. And I want you to do that because I want to achieve my goal, and in me achieving my goal, I want you to achieve your goal. And in some way, in some subconscious way, you hitting those buttons down below can be a jump start for you to move in the right direction. And I pray that they would be a reminder to remind you of what you really want to do, and that you would listen to that voice. That you would listen to that voice in you that says, I want to do something more. And that you would ignore the voice within you that says, you're not capable. That's for everybody else, but not for you. Do not listen to that voice. I want you to drown that voice out, because I want you to focus on the one that says, I can. Start where you can start, even if it seems small and meaningless and impossible. It's like old Jordan Peterson says, clean up your room, make it beautiful. Start where you can start. You know, if it's your desk, if it's your bedside table, if it's your dresser, if it's your kitchen counter, if it's the inside of your car, start where you can start and go from there. You know, I'm sure many of y'all maybe are familiar with the book Atomic Habits by James Quick. It's all about making that 1% shift of stacking habits. Just doing that one thing and stacking upon that, and just getting consistent on doing that even when it seems like it don't make any difference. Like just saying, hey, I'm gonna do 5 push-ups every morning. I'm gonna do 2 push-ups every morning. Something that's so simple that it seems like you have to be able to do that. And just do it. Be consistent. Do it. Because that consistency will build. And as you build that habit, it will grow. It's like I decided to start taking my vitamins daily. I don't know, months and months and months ago. And you know, because I've done that consistently, now I miss it when I don't take my vitamins. Now there's days that I miss, days that I skip, and I think that's okay from where I'm at. But you know, that's something I've tried to do consistently, and now that it's become a habit, I do more. I take more supplements and more vitamins and do it more regularly. It's about stacking habits. Just like reading. Try reading for 10 minutes a day. Build upon that habit. You'll be amazed at what you can read, how that becomes a habit. You can stack it little by little, by little, by little, and watch it grow. You know, one of the things that I also want to do, besides just running, because man, I can't run every day. My job does not necessarily allow it, though. I mean, I could. It ain't really feasible with my schedule and having a 2.5-year-old and all the other things that I want to do. So I'm trying not to be unreasonable. But one thing I want to do, if I want to make this right here to be any kind of revenue stream, is I know that I have to be consistent in it. So instead of just running, I want to do a Bible study. And I want to do a Bible study on Bitcoin. And that might seem a little crazy to some people, but I think there is a correlation there. Because I have a thought that, you know, God says throughout Scripture that He abhors dishonest scales, that He abhors dishonest weight and measures, that fairness, that equality is something that honors God, because that is part of God's character. He is true and honorable, and He expects us to be true and honorable. And so a true and honorable monetary system honors God. And so I want to delve into that. And so look, if you made it this far into the video for whatever reason, I appreciate it. Again, I'd ask you to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification button, because that's something that I want to start here coming up soon, is a Bible study, the Bible and Bitcoin. I'm going to run a little series on that, and I would ask y'all to join me. So y'all, I appreciate your time this morning. I ask that y'all keep grinding, and y'all be blessed.